Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be the third video in our ISO20022 series. Try to say that 3 times fast if you can. I've been saying it all night, shooting these 3 different videos. But we're going to look at the FedNow system and its correlation to the ISO new standards, as well as Ripple and XRP and our favorite new standards cryptocurrencies, and to see how they're involved, as well as a few other questions that I have that may reveal a few things for yourself. But where we've come to so far, if you're new joining us on this part 3 video, is we went and we discussed different what ISO 20022 is, as well as Swift, and we caught the new people up, and we talked about some of the potential dates where we might see some different price action based on, things that are going on with different timelines. Again, none of this is financial advice. I am just a process improvement, uh, not to say guru, but I'm really into it. It's part of my vocation on a daily basis. And so I love to see technologies and how they can improve things. And so no one should go out and buy anything based on what I say. I'm just here to help educate and share what I'm learning with you, because I think it's really cool, this new bleeding edge technology that, well, I guess it's not so bleeding edge anymore, but it's still on the edge. And it hasn't received a ton of adoption yet, but it's definitely getting there. And this is part of that conversation. So without further ado, let's get into the questions here. And one of the first questions I have is, how does FedNow relate to ISO 20022? Well, here's the answer to that. Right here, it says that ISO 20022 standards and our progress to date. And it says that FedNow is committed to being fully ISO 2022 compliant, which is expected to yield operational benefits for participants by facilitating rich data exchanges, enabling efficient straight-through processing, and facilitating interoperability with other payment systems. So it is committed to being fully ISO 20022 compliant. So with that being said, will it be out the door? Who knows? I suspect that it will, because it's a new system, and all of the different um, things are there. Now, will they still need to go through testing with certain phases? Possibly. But they are committed to being fully ISO 20022 compliant. And I'm just going to say ISO and skip the 20022 in the future. It's hard to say over and over again. So if I just say ISO, that's what I'm referring to, just so you know. So the next question I have is, how exactly does FedNow work? I've been trying to peel behind the curtain and see, well, is this powered by XRP? Is it powered by another ISO coin or token? And the answer is, I'm not exactly sure. We'll go down here in a second and look at the CEO's answer. This is Tech Vision for FedNow service, a Q&A with CIO Dan Anthony. And so he answers some of these questions here, and he answers the one we're talking about as well. So let's scroll down here and go to the question: is the FedNow service being built internally, or are you using external vendors like, I would guess, Ripple or another one that we're going to talk about here in a second? It says, and the answer, our technology strategy blends Federal Reserve and external vendors. Our technology decisions are based on a rigorous evaluation process. In addition, the FedNow technology team continually assesses opportunities to leverage emerging technologies where they provide an appropriate business or technical advantage. The FedNow service is being delivered using carefully selected technology portfolio. And again, this is kind of the answer to my question here that's really not answer, is while we don't share details of the internal tech stack, we have made and will continue to make choices designed to achieve our goals for the FedNow service time to market, security, resilience, performance, efficiency, and innovation. Our innovative architecture leverages the learnings of some of today's most high performance and resilience and large-scale technology platforms across the globe in industries including financial services, healthcare, and media. We plan to incorporate some of the same technologies that power software as a service, or SaaS, products widely in use today, including virtualization, cloud, and where appropriate. However, if we scroll down here a little bit more, we will see that they also have a question of how will financial institutions connect to the FedNow service and what technology will be used to send payments and or other messages. Kind of a good thing for us to know, right? So we are currently designing and developing the FedLine solution that will support the FedNow service and provide the high level of security, resilience, reliability that our customers expect from us. Financial institutions will need to integrate their core payments processing systems with the FedNow service using the freely available IBM MQI client over either the FedLine VPN device or FedLine WAN router, similar to the way they connect today and other Federal Reserve financial services. API access to the FedNow service also will be an important part of product roadmap. As Federal Reserve finalizes solutions details, we'll provide more information and support planning ensure connectivity. So they said they would not talk about the tech stack, but they did talk about how they'll be sending payment flows back and forth. And they mentioned IBM MQI client. So that I think could be very telling. I'll do some more research on that and get back to you. So essentially, we got a non-answer and then a little bit of an answer when it comes to the payments flow. Now, we know that just as we looked at before, that the FedNow service is IS or will be ISO compliant, and I mean ISO 20022 compliant, just to be sure. But they will be compliant. So that means that XRP, XLM, and XDC, and all these hbar and all these others will be used or could be utilized within this platform, but it's using this other IBM's leverage service to do those things. And so I'm very interested to learn more about that. More details to come, and maybe we'll even see a fourth part to this video just on that alone. So my next question is, okay, well, if we can't tell me what's in the technology stack, and if I know it's ISO 20022 compliant, then my next thought is all these things will be used. It's just a matter of time and the use case and so forth. So we'll definitely see, as everything else becomes ISO compliant, that it will that it will utilize these different cryptocurrencies just in their own time. Now my hope is that XRP is the one driving the whole FedNow system. I mean, that would be great, right? Of course, my own token and all that, but not that it's mine, but it's one that I'm bullish of. Now I love all the ISO tokens. Don't get me wrong, I hold all of them. But that was kind of my hope, is that XRP would be the back end of this thing, and apparently it's something on IBM. So again, more to come. My next question is, okay, so what other things do I need to be concerned about um with FedNow? Is it just XRP and Ripple? Because I know there's this whole deal with the Faster Payments Council. So I dug into that a bit. And so if we go here, it talks about the ecosystem, about faster instant payments. It talks about the end user and the ecosystem of faster payments, individuals, businesses, nonprofits. You can guess who those are: financial institutions, banks, credit unions, savings banks, and so on. And then what really interests me is interbank network operators. Now, this includes Zelle, clearinghouses, Visa Direct, MasterCard, Send, and eventually FedNow service. So this is where I guess FedNow sits. It's an interbank network operator. So really interesting to see, where this falls and how it operates, I guess. But as I scroll down here, I notice, oh, well, one of the footnotes is it's the U.S. Faster Payments Council executive overview. And so this is the people that went into, if you go back up here, it says in July 2017, the Faster Payments Council Task Force called for the United States to create a faster, safer, more efficient payment system. While the United States has made more significant strides in that direction, the challenge still lies to upgrade many systems and processes, blah, 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 other forms of payment. And as the task force noted, this will be possible only through collaboration amongst all stakeholders. But again, who's this Faster Payments Council? And I know that I've seen Ripple in it before, but what is the connection? So I clicked here, and it brought me to this document, which I believe is the executive overview of what they're trying to accomplish. And then I clicked on fasterpaymentstaskforce.org. It brought me here. And these are the different contributors to the Faster Payments Council. I searched for, and it explains the different subcommittees and how they work and what have you. And so I found Ryan Zagone here. I believe that's how you pronounce him. He's Ripple, and he's actually on the steering committee. So what does the steering committee do? Steering committee is a committee comprised of task force members that advise the chair on task force meeting agenda, assisted on prioritization of various works, efforts. The committee also assists in determining the scope of the task work groups, representing individual segments and synthesizing segments' perspectives, and determining items needed for full task force deliberation. So if there's any place you want to be, the steering committee is probably it, because it is the committee that gets to decide things for all the other things, as far as I understand it. So the steering committee is the place to be. This guy sat on the steering committee. That's the connection to Ripple, or at least one of them. There's another one when it comes to the formal Ripple advisor, Michael Barr, will be the supervise the Federal Reserve. I believe he will be the, it says, where is it? He received bipartisan support. Michael Barr will be the vice chair of supervision of the Federal Reserve, because it sounds like up here they make him out to be the chair, but he's actually going to be the vice chair. Either way, he's going to be looking over the Federal Reserve, and he's a formal Ripple advisor, so there's a connection to Ripple there. All right, so now that I've gotten that out of the way, we can definitely... one more thing. Volpe. Volpe is a Ripple partner, and it helps to integrate Ripple's on-demand liquidity service, I believe. Again, you can go check out the link here, but the connection I'm trying to make is that Volante uses Volpe Ripple processing module, speeds integration to the Ripple global settlement network. And so you can see here that there's a connection between Volpe and Volante. Now, Volante was in the... oh my gosh, I'm going blank. What was it? The showcase. Yes, this is the showcase from, I believe, 2022. You can see Volante here. And Volante, along with Cypherium, were both a part of this here. Now, Cypherium has gotten a lot of, I guess, more vocal or more publicity about it than I think Volante has. I think it did get one article, but that was all that I saw. But you can see here that Volante and Volpe specifically, as a solution, was a part of this showcase. And you can see here the FedNow functionality supports connectivity to the FedNow service, customer credit transfers, request for payments, RFPs, financial institution liquidity transfers, liquidity, correspondent settlement services for financial institutions. And then on the other side, let's talk about Cypherium, right? Because this is actually something that caught my eye. Cypherium Blockchain Inc. They are another one that we will be talking about for the rest of the video, because this is where I initially got into FedNow because I was a little curious. But again, they also do requests for payments. They see others, see below. Interoperability between payment systems, both domestically and internationally. Keep that in mind as we progress. It is recognized as one of the most important challenges and issues of faster payments. Cypherium provides interoperability for the FedNow service to interoperate with other payment systems, such as central bank digital currencies, and keep that in mind here in a second, legacy settlement systems, and foreign payment networks. So I know that we all thought and still think that a lot of us in the XRP community, and this is just, for those in the XRP community specifically, not just all ISO20022 people, that XRP was going to be like, the thing, maybe the one ring to rule them all. And we know that that's going to, obviously, we're talking about ISO20022 here. There's obviously going to be several. But, Cypherium was kind of a surprise to me. And it just seemed like it popped out of nowhere. And it starts to, correspond settlement services, financial institutions, financial institution liquidity transfers. Sounds very similar to Volante over here, right? Very, very similar, except there's no paragraph down here about everything else. So, looked into Cypherium here a bit, and did not like what I found. Apparently, there's a tie to China. China's blockchain ally joins the Federal Reserve Provider Showcase. Yeah, it's just what you want to see, right? When you're talking about central bank digital currencies and you're talking about the new dollar, I want no correlation to China personally. I would rather this not be in the showcase. Well, let's look into it here a bit. It says on Tuesday, the Fed officially launched the FedNow service provider showcase, the one we just talked about, where I showed Volante and Cypherium. It aims to provide financial institutions and users with a range of services to help them implement the FedNow service, which launches in 2023, which we now know is July of 2023. At the launch, the showcase includes more than 70 profiles and service providers that support instant payments, including Cypherium. So not just Cypherium, but 70 service providers, 70 profiles and service providers. Now, I'm not sure if they all support instant payments. I couldn't find that many. If I just clicked on, I'll just show you. If I click on like digital wallet, for example, which is also about to come up in a second, there's like 3 pages, and I don't think that's 70. So don't exactly know what's up with that. But we'll just continue here. Give the writer his day here. Including Cypherium, a New York-based blockchain company focused on instant payment solutions, blockchain interoperability, and central bank digital currency. The platform is known for being involved in Chinese blockchain projects, including the cooperation with Shenzhou City Municipal for the city's development of blockchain infrastructure. Now, this doesn't necessarily say it's correlated directly, but it does say CBDC, and that makes me wonder about its connection to, the digital yuan that's supposedly, doing a social credit score and all this other different stuff that we really don't want, and tracking the Chinese people. Don't want that in the US. Just don't want it. And this is concerning to me. Let's go on with other concerns. we are the only blockchain company selected so far. Cypherium CEO Sky Gao told Cointelegraph, adding that consumers will be able to use Cypherium's digital wallet or blockchain technology as part of their FedNow payment project. So if we're only able to use Cypherium's wallet, I think that's a problem, especially its correlation to China here and their technology. Just throwing that out here. Now, but we did, again, I just showed you, do mind you, that I just had digital wallet, and I had other, Photon and others that I'm really not familiar with. I guess I need to do so much more research and come back to it. But oh my gosh, there's like 3 pages of these things. So the CEO of this Cypherium is bragging it's the only one. But there's clearly others, it looks like. Just showing that as well. But so, so you say, we are the only blockchain company selected so far. So selected so far. Let's take that back there. He also noted that Cypherium's technology will also enable interoperability in payment systems for consumers, blah, blah, we already know. Now, the FedNow business executive, Nick Stanescu, I tried, bro. I'm not sure if I got that right or not. Forgive me. Pointed out that Cypherium's participation in the project will help organizations identify and connect with partners they'll need to build the end-to-end solutions the market is demanding. Now, this phrase, I don't want to read too much into it. I'm not a huge conspiracy theory guy, but I do keep an open mind. And if I was one of those people, then I would be saying, man, build the end-to-end solutions and connect with partners as the market is demanding. I can't get away from the China connection here and the projects they've worked with over there. But maybe on the other side of that, maybe they're here because they didn't go well. And, I don't know, I have to do more research, but maybe they're here because it didn't go well for some reason and they wanted privacy and, just trying to show the other side of the coin, hoping at least that, they're here because they want and they believe in privacy and X, Y, and Z. Apart from the FedNow, Cypherium has also been a member of the U.S. Faster Payments Council, an organization aiming to provide a global inclusive payment system since 2019, according to Cypherium CEO. The only other blockchain-related participant in the Faster Payments Council is the blockchain payment firm Ripple. So we have Cypherium and Ripple here that seem to be the driving forces of the FedNow system. Now, if that's the case, I've been around and I've been inside the XRP community for a long time. Yeah, let's get rid of this coin telegraph thing here. And I'm really, I've always thought that Ripple would be, you know, just hoping all the money, like they, the what is it, the Interledger protocol, states all the time. Now, if that being the case, Cypherium seems like, especially if it's the only wallet being used, that it definitely has some case here, for at least the FedNow adoption and where it's going. So let's take a look at Cypherium and this article here. So this is this article. Not sure if it's driving this or not. It's March 9th, 2022. This is the Cypherium chart, and this is over the past 3 months. And we've seen it go from, oh my gosh, what is that? 2 cents to around 5. It's jumped up to around 8. And this is March 7th. What was the other one? March 9th? March 9th. So around March 9th actually is when some of this action started to happen. So a lot of us may be wondering, and maybe this chart is reflective of that, if Ripple and XRP are going to be like the one solution we thought they were, or eventually settle between a lot of different things, and or who knows. But there definitely seems to be some interest here now that Cypherium is in the spotlight. So that kind of concludes all my basic questions about the FedNow system. Wondering what your thoughts are. What further questions do you have? I shared a ton of information. There's a ton of connections to Ripple. There's a ton of connections. I won't say a ton. There are connections to Cypherium, and there's a lot of Cypherium connections to China. But I don't necessarily know. We only have the CEO's word that they're the only one chosen for like the wallet providers. So I'm kind of interested to know if we obviously saw others, how they're interacting. I'll definitely go back and look at that IBM thing and get back to y'all. IBM, MQ, MQI. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you know any research about this that you have. Happy to incorporate into the next video. Again, maybe we'll have a fourth one to answer some of those other questions. But I think that covers pretty much everything about FedNow. Let me know, again, your questions and comments below. I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you like more of this content or if you'd like to see something else. I hear and I watch a lot of different crypto news. I thought about getting into it, but I really want to put my own spin on it, and I really want to do something different. I'm trying to figure out what that looks like, but at the same time, these are topics that interest me that I think are part of the whole crypto space. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below. Make sure to smash that like button. I'm JTXRP, and I'm out.